You have stared at the ceiling late at night, exhausted but unable to silence the voice in your mind that keeps telling you nothing will ever truly change. You know the feeling. The room is dark, the air feels still, your body wants to rest, yet your thoughts keep replaying old mistakes, missed chances, and quiet fears, until another night slips away. Deep inside, part of you senses there must be more to life, but you cannot seem to reach it. By the time you finish listening, you will understand how to break that hidden pattern, reshape the messages your subconscious has been repeating for years, and begin living from a place of calm confidence instead of constant doubt. What you are searching for has never been as far away as you believed. There is an ancient truth that has been waiting beneath the noise, patiently hidden behind a voice you learned to trust long ago. The moment you recognize that voice for what it truly is, everything begins to change, and that is where this begins. Chapter 1. You have forgotten the ancient power within you. You wake a few minutes before the alarm. The room is still quiet. A faint light slips through the curtains. Your body is rested, but your mind is already busy. Before your feet touch the floor, a familiar voice begins its work. It reminds you of what did not happen yesterday. It points to what might go wrong today. It speaks with confidence, as if it has known your future for years. You do not question it. You simply carry it with you into the morning. By breakfast, your shoulders feel heavy, even though nothing has happened yet. Most people believe that this voice is who they are. It feels personal because it has been there for so long. It has repeated the same thoughts through thousands of ordinary moments. The mind learns through repetition. Whatever it hears often becomes familiar. Whatever becomes familiar begins to feel true. This is not weakness. It is how the human brain protects itself. It prefers patterns over possibilities because patterns feel safe. Yet there is another part of you that has never agreed with that voice. It has remained quiet. It does not argue. It waits. Sometimes you notice it during a peaceful walk. Sometimes while watching the evening sky. Sometimes just before sleep when the noise begins to fade. It is calm. It is steady. It does not rush. That quiet presence has been with you since the beginning, even if you have not listened to it for many years. Many ancient teachers believed that every person carried an inner wisdom that could not be damaged by failure or fear. They did not see it as something to gain. They saw it as something to remember. They believed that beneath every habit, every doubt, and every disappointment lived a deeper intelligence. Today, psychology might describe this as the subconscious holding powerful beliefs beneath conscious awareness. Spiritual traditions might call it your true nature. Different words, the same direction. Your subconscious is always listening. It notices what you repeat without emotion. It records what you believe when nobody is watching. It stores small reactions that seem too ordinary to matter. Each one becomes another thread in the pattern of your life. Over time, those threads become strong enough to shape choices before you even realize you are making them. Think about how easily you reach for your phone without deciding to, or how quickly you expect the same outcome after many disappointments. Those actions feel automatic because they have been practiced. The subconscious does not ask whether a pattern serves you. It only asks whether it has become familiar enough to repeat. This is where many people become discouraged. They search outside themselves for the answer. They wait for the perfect opportunity. They hope that one great event will change everything. But lasting change rarely begins with dramatic moments. It begins with quiet decisions that almost nobody notices. The smallest repeated action often carries more power than the biggest promise. There is also something else at work. Call it the universe if that word feels right to you. Call it life. Call it the field of possibility. Names matter less than experience. When your attention stays fixed on fear, your mind becomes skilled at finding more reasons to fear. When your attention rests on steady purpose, your awareness begins noticing different opportunities. The world may not change overnight, but your relationship with it does. That shift changes your choices. Your choices slowly reshape your life. This is not magic in the way many people expect. It is cooperation. Your inner world influences how you meet the outer world. A calm person notices possibilities that an anxious person overlooks. A grateful person speaks differently than someone filled with resentment. Small differences create different conversations. Different conversations create different relationships. Different relationships open different doors. You have not lost your ancient power. You have simply allowed louder voices to speak over it. Fear is loud because it wants immediate attention. Wisdom is quiet because it trusts time. Fear pushes, wisdom guides. Fear demands certainty before action. Wisdom asks for one honest step. The first step begins today. Before you speak to anyone else, sit somewhere quiet for 5 minutes. Keep both feet on the floor, place one hand over your chest. Breathe in through your nose for 4 slow counts. Breathe out for 6. Do this 10 times. After the final breath, ask yourself one question. What kind of person do I choose to become today? Do not ask what you will achieve. Ask who you will be. Then write one sentence beginning with the words, "Today I choose to be." Keep it simple, calm, patient, honest, focused. Carry that sentence with you for the rest of the day. Tomorrow, begin changing what your subconscious hears. Notice one negative thought that repeats often. Do not fight it. Do not pretend it never appears. Simply write it down exactly as it arrives. Then write a new sentence beside it that feels believable, not perfect. If the old thought says, "Nothing ever works for me," replace it with, "I am learning to recognize new opportunities every day." Read the new sentence slowly 3 times in the morning and 3 times before sleep. Consistency matters more than intensity. During this week, create one daily moment of silence. 10 minutes is enough. Turn off every screen. Sit without music, without distractions, without trying to solve anything. Watch your thoughts come and go like passing clouds. Do not chase them. Do not judge them. The purpose is not to empty your mind. The purpose is to discover that you are the observer, not every thought that appears. That simple realization changes how much power old patterns have over you. As these practices continue, you may notice something unexpected. Your circumstances might remain the same for a while, yet your reactions begin to soften. You pause before answering with anger. You worry less about what others think. You notice moments of gratitude that once escaped your attention. These are not small changes. They are signs that your inner direction is becoming stronger than your old conditioning. There was a man named Daniel who believed he always failed when new opportunities appeared. He avoided applying for better work because he expected rejection before anyone had answered him. One morning he started writing a single sentence, "Today I choose to act with quiet confidence." He repeated it every day. A week later he noticed he no longer argued with every doubtful thought. Instead of waiting until he felt fearless, he submitted one application. Nothing dramatic happened that afternoon. A few days later, he received an invitation for an interview. More important than the invitation was what had already changed inside him. He had acted before certainty arrived. That one decision became the beginning of a different pattern. Your life does not become different because one lucky moment appears. It becomes different because you become someone who responds differently when moments appear. That is the quiet work few people celebrate. Yet it is the work that lasts. Many people spend years searching for hidden knowledge while ignoring the wisdom available in ordinary mornings. The way you breathe before speaking, the words you repeat after making a mistake, the attention you give your thoughts. These simple acts shape the direction of your subconscious more than occasional bursts of motivation. There will still be difficult days. There will be mornings when the old voice returns with familiar confidence. Do not treat those moments as failure. Patterns built over many years do not disappear because you wish them away. They become weaker each time you choose a better response instead of an automatic reaction. Progress is built through repetition, not perfection. Trust the quiet work. Trust the steady rhythm of small actions. Your mind learns through practice. Your heart grows through patience. Life responds to people who remain faithful to what they value, even when results are still invisible. There is strength in showing up before you see proof. There is wisdom in continuing before certainty arrives. The ancient power within you has never demanded perfection. It has only waited for your attention. Every calm breath, every honest choice, Every moment of awareness brings you closer to the person you were always capable of becoming. Tomorrow morning, before the world speaks to you, sit in silence for 5 minutes, choose the one quality you will live by that day, and keep that promise to yourself no matter what happens. Chapter 2. The Subconscious Guards Every Hidden Door to Change. You finish a long day and finally sit down in silence. The house is quiet. Your work is done. Nothing urgent demands your attention. Yet instead of feeling peace, your mind begins replaying old conversations. It reminds you of mistakes you made years ago. It brings back words spoken by people who no longer share your life. Without noticing, your breathing becomes shallow. Your body reacts as though those moments are happening again. You are sitting safely in the present, but your inner world is living somewhere in the past. This is one of the greatest mysteries of the human mind. Your subconscious does not experience time the way your conscious mind does. It stores emotional patterns. When something in the present resembles an old memory, even in a small way, it opens the same response. A tone of voice, a familiar place, a certain feeling of uncertainty. These small signals become keys that open hidden doors inside you. Many people believe they make decisions with careful thought. In truth, much of daily life comes from habits already stored beneath awareness. You wake at a certain time. You respond to stress in familiar ways. You expect certain outcomes before events even begin. Your subconscious quietly prepares you to repeat what it already knows. This hidden system is not trying to punish you, it is trying to protect you. Long ago, your mind learned that familiar patterns helped you survive. Even painful habits can feel safer than unknown possibilities. That is why real change often feels uncomfortable. The subconscious hears change as uncertainty, and uncertainty has always demanded caution. Think of a path through a forest. Every day you walk the same trail. After months and years, the ground becomes smooth beneath your feet. Walking there requires almost no effort. Then one day you choose another direction. The new path is covered with leaves and branches. Every step takes attention. At first it feels slower and harder. Yet each time you walk it, the trail becomes clearer. The old path slowly disappears because you stop feeding it with your footsteps. Your subconscious works in much the same way. Every repeated thought strengthens one trail. Every repeated action reinforces one expectation. You are never trapped by a single thought. You are shaped by the thoughts you repeat most often. There is also a quieter force that many people sense without fully understanding. Some call it frequency, others call it alignment. Whatever name you choose, it reflects a simple truth. Your inner state influences what you notice in the world around you. Two people can enter the same room and leave with completely different experiences because each one was looking through a different inner lens. When your subconscious expects rejection, it becomes skilled at finding signs of rejection. A delayed message feels personal. A quiet conversation seems threatening. A simple mistake becomes proof that you are not enough. Yet when your subconscious begins expecting growth, it notices learning instead of failure. It sees opportunity where fear once stood. The universe does not need to rearrange every event for your life to change. Sometimes the greatest change begins when your awareness shifts. New possibilities were already present. Your subconscious simply could not recognize them because it was focused somewhere else. This is why guarding your inner world matters so much. Every sentence you repeat to yourself becomes an instruction. Every emotion you feed becomes more familiar. Every small act of courage teaches your subconscious that safety can exist inside change. Today, begin with one simple exercise. Find a notebook. Write the words, "The thoughts I repeat most often." Spend 10 quiet minutes writing without stopping. Do not correct yourself. Do not judge what appears. Write every recurring thought that comes into your mind. You may discover fears you have never spoken aloud. You may notice beliefs that have quietly guided your decisions for years. Awareness is the first key. Hidden patterns lose strength when they are brought into the light. Tomorrow, practice interrupting one automatic response. Choose something small. If you usually check your phone the moment you wake up, wait 15 minutes instead. If you usually criticize yourself after making a mistake, replace that habit with one calm breath before speaking. The goal is not perfection. The goal is teaching your subconscious that another response is possible. During this week, create one evening ritual before sleep. Sit comfortably with your eyes closed. Take 5 slow breaths. Then ask yourself, what belief helped me today, and what belief limited me today? Listen without forcing an answer. Write the first honest response that comes. End by saying quietly, I choose to strengthen what serves me. Then go to sleep without reviewing the worries of tomorrow. Sleep is one of the most powerful times for the subconscious. During the night, your brain continues organizing memories, emotions, and experiences. What you consistently place before your mind in those final moments often leaves a deeper impression than you realize. This is why ending the day with intention matters. You are planting seeds before the soil becomes still. A woman named Sarah struggled with speaking during meetings at work. Each time she wanted to share an idea, a quiet thought appeared. Someone else probably knows better. She had believed that sentence for years without questioning it. After writing her repeating thoughts, she recognized how often that belief appeared. The next morning, she replaced it with a different sentence. My voice deserves to be heard. She did not suddenly become fearless. During her next meeting, she spoke only once. Her hands shook. Her voice was softer than she hoped. But something important happened. People listened. One coworker thanked her for the idea afterward. That evening, she realized the hidden door had never been locked. It had only been guarded by an old belief. Many people wait until confidence arrives before taking action. The subconscious learns the opposite way. Action creates evidence. Evidence builds belief. Belief strengthens confidence. Small actions repeated consistently become proof that your identity is changing. Do not rush this process. Deep roots do not grow overnight. Some beliefs were practiced for decades. They deserve patient attention rather than frustration. Every time you notice an old pattern without obeying it, you weaken its influence. Every time you choose a better response, you build a stronger foundation beneath your future. There will be days when nothing seems different. Your habits may still feel familiar. Old thoughts may still return. Do not mistake their presence for failure. A thought has no authority until you agree with it. You are learning to observe before reacting. That pause is where freedom begins. The subconscious guards every hidden door to change because it values familiarity above all else. Your task is not to fight it. Your task is to become a trustworthy guide for it. Through calm repetition, honest awareness, and patient action, you teach it that growth is not danger. Growth is home. Tonight, before you close your eyes, write down one belief you are no longer willing to carry. Replace it with one stronger truth you can genuinely accept, and repeat that truth slowly until it becomes the final voice your subconscious hears before sleep. Chapter 3. The universe answers your deepest inner frequency. You are standing in the grocery store, staring at a shelf filled with ordinary choices. Nothing about the moment seems important. Then, someone nearby says a single sentence about a new opportunity at work. Most people would hear those words and continue shopping. But something inside you pays attention. The idea stays with you long after you leave the store. You cannot explain why. It feels as though the moment was waiting for you. Later, you realize that one brief conversation changed the direction of your thinking. The opportunity did not appear because the words were magical. It appeared because you were finally ready to hear them. Life is filled with moments like this. They often seem small while they are happening. Only later do they reveal their meaning. The question is not whether life sends opportunities. The question is whether your inner state allows you to recognize them. Many people spend years asking why good things happen for others but not for them. They search for hidden formulas or perfect timing. They wonder whether they have been forgotten by the universe. Yet they rarely stop to notice the condition of their own attention. Your awareness acts like a filter. It decides what deserves your focus and what disappears into the background. Think about buying a new car. Before making the decision, you barely notice that model on the road. The day after choosing it, you suddenly see it everywhere. The cars were always there. Your attention simply changed. Your brain began treating that information as important. The same process shapes every part of your life. When your mind expects disappointment, it quickly notices delay, rejection, and uncertainty. When your mind begins expecting growth, it becomes more aware of possibility, kindness, and useful connections. The world has not transformed overnight, your attention has. This is where many spiritual traditions speak about frequency. The word is often misunderstood. It does not require mysterious powers or dramatic rituals. It points toward the quality of your inner state. Fear has its own rhythm. Gratitude has another. Bitterness creates one pattern of thought. Hope creates another. Each state influences what you notice, how you respond, and what kind of energy you bring into every conversation. Your subconscious quietly supports whichever state you practice most often. If you spend years rehearsing failure, your subconscious becomes skilled at protecting you from risk. If you repeatedly practice trust, patience, and responsibility, it slowly accepts those qualities as your new normal. The universe does not reward empty wishes. It responds more naturally to steady alignment between what you believe, what you feel, and what you consistently do. A person who says they want peace while feeding constant anger sends mixed signals into every part of life. A person who says they value abundance while living with endless fear of loss struggles to recognize the opportunities already nearby. This is why honesty matters more than positive words. You cannot force yourself to believe something your heart completely rejects. Lasting change begins with believable truth. If you cannot honestly say, "Everything in my life is perfect," begin somewhere real. Say, "I am learning to trust myself more each day." Your subconscious accepts sincerity far more easily than exaggeration. There is another reason your inner frequency matters. Every interaction carries emotional influence. Calmness often encourages calmness in others. Genuine confidence creates trust. Quiet gratitude softens tension. These responses spread naturally. You may never know how one peaceful conversation opens a door weeks later through another person's memory of you. This does not mean you control every outcome. You cannot force another person to agree with you. You cannot prevent every setback. You cannot predict every event. Some things remain outside your reach. Wisdom grows when you stop trying to command what belongs to life itself and begin taking full responsibility for what belongs to you. Your responsibility is your attention, your response, your daily habits, your willingness to keep moving with integrity, even when results remain unseen. Today, begin by choosing one emotion you want to strengthen. Not 10, just one. It could be patience, gratitude, courage, compassion. Write that word on a piece of paper. Carry it with you throughout the day. Before every important conversation, look at that word for a few seconds. Ask yourself one simple question. How would this version of me respond? Then act from that answer instead of your first impulse. Tomorrow, spend 15 minutes paying close attention to everything that goes well. Keep a small notebook or use your phone. Record 10 things, no matter how ordinary they seem. A kind smile, a completed task, a healthy meal, a useful idea, a peaceful moment during your walk. This practice teaches your mind to notice what supports your life instead of only what threatens it. During this week, perform one unexpected act of generosity every day without asking for recognition. Hold a door open, encourage a coworker, leave an honest compliment, help someone solve a problem, share your time with someone who feels unheard. Do it quietly. These actions strengthen a mindset of abundance rather than scarcity. They remind your subconscious that giving does not reduce your value. It expands your awareness of connection. As you continue these practices, watch what begins changing inside you before looking for changes outside you. Perhaps you become less impatient in traffic. Perhaps you recover more quickly after disappointment. Perhaps you stop assuming the worst before every new situation. These are signs that your inner frequency is becoming steadier. There was a woman named Elena who believed nothing good ever happened without luck. Every setback became proof that life worked against her. One morning, she decided to change only one habit. She began writing 5 moments of gratitude before leaving for work. At first, the list felt ordinary: warm coffee, clean water, a conversation with her daughter, safe travel, a clear sky. After several weeks, she noticed something unexpected. She smiled more often during conversations. She volunteered for a project she would have avoided before. Through that project, she met someone who later recommended her for a better position. She called it a lucky break. Looking back, she realized the opportunity had appeared because she had become someone willing to see and accept it. Your life is shaped by thousands of moments that seem too small to matter. The way you greet strangers, the stories you repeat about yourself, the expectations you carry into each new day. These quiet choices slowly become your character. Your character influences your decisions. Your decisions shape your future. Do not become discouraged if old emotions return. Every person experiences fear, doubt, and disappointment. The goal is not to eliminate them forever. The goal is to stop allowing them to become permanent guides. Feel them, learn from them, then return your attention to what deserves your energy. The universe often answers through ordinary events rather than extraordinary signs. A timely conversation. A book that appears when you need it. A new idea during a peaceful walk. A chance meeting that leads to lasting friendship. These moments rarely force themselves into your life. They are noticed by people whose minds have become quiet enough to receive them. Your deepest inner frequency is created by what you repeatedly choose, not by what you occasionally hope for. Every calm breath strengthens patience. Every honest action strengthens trust. Every act of gratitude reminds your subconscious that life contains more than fear. Tomorrow morning, before you begin your day, choose the one quality you wish to carry into every situation. Protect it through every conversation and decision, and allow that single choice to become the signal you quietly offer to the world. Chapter 4. You rewrite the secret code of your reality. You are sitting in your car after a difficult conversation. The engine is off, but you do not reach for the door. The words you heard a few minutes ago continue repeating in your mind. You replay every sentence. You think about what you should have said instead. By the time you arrive home, the conversation has become larger than it really was. It now feels like proof that nothing ever changes. Yet another person could have walked away from that same moment with a completely different story. The event stayed the same. The meaning changed. This is one of the quiet truths that shapes every life. Events matter, but the meaning you give them often matters more. Your subconscious does not simply record what happens, it records the story you attach to what happens. Over time, those stories become beliefs. Those beliefs become expectations. Those expectations begin guiding your choices without asking your permission. Many people think reality is built only by circumstances. They believe that once the outside world improves, they will finally feel different inside. But lasting change usually moves in the opposite direction. The inner story changes first. The outer life slowly follows, because your decisions begin coming from a different place. The ancient teachers often spoke of hidden writings that could only be read by prepared eyes. Whether those writings existed exactly as described is less important than the lesson they carried. Every person lives by an invisible code. It is written through repeated thoughts, emotional habits, and daily actions. Most people never realize they are writing it. They simply inherit old beliefs from childhood, painful experiences, and the opinions of others. Your subconscious treats those beliefs like instructions. If you quietly believe that success always belongs to someone else, your mind will avoid risks that could prove otherwise. If you believe that people cannot be trusted, your actions become guarded before anyone has earned your suspicion. If you believe you are always behind, you rush through life without enjoying what you already have. None of these patterns appear overnight. They are written one sentence at a time. That is why changing your life is not about fighting every negative thought. It is about becoming aware of the code you have been writing and deciding which parts deserve to remain. The universe responds more easily to consistency than to intensity. A single day of confidence cannot erase years of self-doubt. 1 hour of gratitude cannot immediately replace a lifetime of fear. But each repeated choice begins writing a different instruction into your subconscious. The code slowly changes. As it changes, your behavior changes. As your behavior changes, your experience begins changing with it. Many people become impatient, because they expect instant results. They plant a seed in the morning and search for fruit by evening. Nature does not work that way. Neither does the subconscious. Every meaningful change spends time beneath the surface before becoming visible. Think about learning to write as a child. At first, every letter required complete attention. Your hand moved slowly. Mistakes happened often. Then something remarkable occurred. Through repetition, writing became natural. Today, you rarely think about forming each letter. Your subconscious learned the pattern. Beliefs develop in exactly the same way. Whatever you practice often enough becomes automatic. This truth works for fear and for confidence. It works for doubt and for trust. Your subconscious does not favor one over the other. It simply strengthens whatever you repeatedly give your attention. This is why your words matter. Every sentence you repeat becomes another line in the code of your reality. Words are not magic by themselves. Their power comes from repetition, joined with action. When your words, choices, and emotions begin moving in the same direction, your inner world becomes clear instead of divided. Today, begin rewriting one belief that has quietly controlled your decisions. Find a notebook and divide a page into 2 columns. On the left side, write one belief that has limited you for years. Keep it honest. I am not capable enough. People always leave. Nothing good lasts. Then look at that sentence carefully. Ask yourself where it came from. Did you choose it, or did you inherit it from one painful experience or someone else's opinion? On the right side, write a belief that is both stronger and believable. Do not create an impossible fantasy. Replace, I always fail, with, I become stronger every time I practice. Replace, nobody values me, with, I am learning to build relationships based on respect. Read the new sentence aloud every morning before checking your phone. Read it again each evening before sleep. Tomorrow, pay attention to your language throughout the day. Each time you catch yourself saying, I have to, replace those words with, I choose to. Instead of saying, I have to go to work, say, I choose to earn a living. Instead of saying, I have to exercise, say, I choose to strengthen my body. This small change reminds your subconscious that you are living through conscious decisions instead of constant obligation. During this week, keep one promise to yourself every single day. Make it simple enough that failure becomes unnecessary. Wake up 10 minutes earlier. Drink enough water. Read 5 pages. Walk for 15 minutes. Meditate for 10 minutes. The action itself matters less than the consistency. Every completed promise sends one quiet message to your subconscious. I trust my own word. That message becomes part of your identity. As these practices continue, you may notice something unexpected. Confidence grows before achievement. Peace appears before circumstances improve. This surprises many people because they expected external success to create internal stability. In reality, inner stability often creates the foundation for lasting success. There was a teacher named Michael who believed he was a poor public speaker. Years earlier, he had forgotten his words during a presentation. That single experience became the code he repeated for more than a decade. Every new opportunity reminded him of that old embarrassment. One evening, he wrote the belief on paper, I always fail when people are watching. Then he replaced it with a new sentence, my confidence grows every time I speak. He practiced speaking alone for 5 minutes every morning. He volunteered to answer one question during meetings instead of remaining silent. Months later, he was asked to lead a workshop for new employees. People complimented his calm presence. They never knew they were seeing the result of hundreds of quiet repetitions rather than natural talent. This is how reality changes. Not through one dramatic breakthrough, but through many invisible choices that nobody applauds. Your subconscious pays close attention to what you repeatedly do, especially when no one is watching. Private discipline becomes public confidence. Quiet consistency becomes lasting character. The world often notices the result long after the foundation has already been built. There will still be moments when the old code tries to return. You may hear familiar thoughts saying that nothing is different. Do not argue with them. Do not fear them. Simply continue writing the new pattern through your actions. Every calm response weakens the old instruction. Every fulfilled promise strengthens the new one. Remember that the universe does not require perfection before responding to your efforts. It responds to direction. Even slow progress carries power when it moves consistently toward truth. Every day you choose awareness instead of habit, responsibility instead of blame, and patience instead of panic, you are writing a different future. You are not trapped by the story you have repeated for years. You are the one holding the pen today. Your subconscious is reading every sentence you write through your attention, your words, and your actions. Over time, those sentences become the code that shapes how you see yourself and how you meet the world. Beginning tomorrow morning, choose one belief that reflects the person you are becoming, prove it through one deliberate action before the day ends, and refuse to let your old story write even a single sentence without your permission. Chapter 5. Daily Rituals. Awaken, the forgotten alchemist within. The first few minutes after you wake up often disappear without your notice. Your hand reaches for your phone almost automatically. Messages, headlines, notifications. Before your own thoughts have a chance to speak, the world has already filled your mind with its demands. By the time you stand up, you are reacting instead of choosing. The day has quietly taken control before you have taken one conscious breath. Most people believe that major transformations begin with major decisions. They wait for a life-changing opportunity, a powerful realization, or the perfect moment to begin again. Yet lasting change is usually built through ordinary rituals, repeated with extraordinary consistency. The smallest daily actions shape the deepest parts of the subconscious because they happen again and again. This is why the ancient seekers placed great value on daily practice. They understood that wisdom was not collected during rare moments of inspiration. It was cultivated through faithful repetition. They did not depend on motivation, because motivation comes and goes. They depended on rhythm. Rhythm creates stability. Stability creates trust. Trust allows the subconscious to accept a new identity. The forgotten alchemist within you is not someone waiting to perform miracles. It is the quiet part of your nature that knows how small actions become lasting results. An alchemist was once believed to transform ordinary metal into something precious. Whether that happened in a physical sense is less important than what it symbolizes. The greatest transformation has always been the one that takes place within a human being. Every morning you are given raw material. Your thoughts, your attention, your time, your choices. Most people hand these treasures away without realizing it. They allow fear to shape their first thoughts. They allow distraction to consume their attention. They allow urgency to decide what deserves their energy. But every sunrise also offers another possibility. You can choose your first thought. You can choose your first action. You can choose the emotional tone that follows you throughout the day. These choices seem small because they are familiar. Yet they quietly become the foundation of everything that follows. Your subconscious loves patterns. It does not need dramatic speeches. It responds to repeated evidence. When you perform the same healthy ritual every morning, your subconscious begins expecting that behavior. What once required discipline slowly becomes natural. The universe also appears to respond differently when your life develops this kind of steady rhythm. Not because the universe changes, but because you become more available to life. A calm mind notices solutions more quickly. A disciplined person follows through on opportunities that others ignore. A grateful heart recognizes blessings that a distracted mind overlooks. There is great power in beginning the day before the noise begins. Silence has a way of revealing what constant activity hides. When you spend even a few quiet minutes alone each morning, you begin hearing your own thoughts instead of everyone else's expectations. You become less reactive. Your decisions become clearer. You stop borrowing your identity from yesterday's disappointments. Your rituals are conversations with your subconscious. Each repeated action says something. When you rush every morning, you quietly say, "Life controls me." When you keep one simple promise every day, you quietly say, "I can trust myself." Your subconscious believes actions much faster than words. That is why discipline is an act of self-respect. It is not punishment, it is evidence. Today, begin with a morning ritual that takes no more than 15 minutes. Wake up just 15 minutes earlier than usual. Before touching your phone, sit somewhere comfortable, close your eyes, take 10 slow breaths. Feel the air entering and leaving your body. Do not force your thoughts to disappear, simply notice them. When your breathing becomes steady, ask yourself one question. What kind of energy do I choose to bring into today? Wait quietly. The first honest answer is enough. When you finish, write 3 simple intentions in a notebook. They should describe how you want to live, not what you want to receive. I choose patience. I choose honest effort. I choose calm decisions. Carry those intentions into the day. Tomorrow, add 1 physical ritual. After drinking a glass of water, stand outside if possible. Spend 5 minutes looking at the morning sky. Feel the sunlight or the fresh air. Walk slowly. Leave your phone inside. This small act reminds your nervous system that life exists beyond screens, schedules, and constant stimulation. Nature restores a sense of balance that endless information often destroys. Throughout this week, create an evening ritual that prepares your subconscious for restful sleep. 1 hour before bed, lower the lights. Put away every unnecessary screen. Read something that strengthens your mind rather than filling it with anxiety. Sit quietly for 5 minutes and ask yourself 3 questions. What did I do well today? What did I learn today? What will I improve tomorrow? Answer honestly. Then end the day with gratitude for one specific moment. Not because every day is easy, because every day contains something worth remembering. These rituals may appear ordinary. Their strength comes from repetition. Every morning tells your subconscious who you are becoming. Every evening reminds it what deserves to remain. Over time, these simple rhythms begin replacing old habits that once controlled your life without permission. There was a man named Adrian who believed he lacked discipline. He often started new habits with excitement, only to abandon them a few days later. Each failure became another reason to doubt himself. Instead of trying to change everything, he chose one simple morning ritual: 10 minutes of breathing, 3 written intentions, a short walk before breakfast. Nothing dramatic happened during the first week. The second week felt much the same. By the end of the first month, however, he noticed something unexpected. He no longer rushed through his mornings. He became more patient with difficult coworkers. He stopped making decisions based on temporary emotions. After several months, people began describing him as calm and dependable. They believed his personality had changed. Adrian knew the truth. His rituals had quietly changed his identity. This is how the forgotten alchemist begins working. Not through sudden excitement, through steady repetition. Every completed ritual becomes another piece of evidence that you are becoming someone different. Eventually, your subconscious stops asking whether you are capable. It begins expecting you to follow through. There will still be mornings when you feel tired. There will be evenings when you would rather skip your practice. Those moments matter more than the easy ones. Every time you honor your ritual despite discomfort, you strengthen the relationship you have with yourself. Self-trust is built through kept promises, especially when nobody else is watching. Do not measure your progress by how inspired you feel. Measure it by how faithfully you return to your practice. Inspiration rises and falls. Character grows through consistency. The universe rarely rewards scattered attention. It responds more naturally to people who become stable enough to recognize and act on the opportunities already surrounding them. Your rituals create that stability. They prepare your mind before life asks something difficult of you. One day you will look back and realize that your life did not change because of one extraordinary event. It changed because you honored hundreds of ordinary mornings and peaceful evenings. Those quiet moments became the hidden foundation beneath every visible success. Beginning tomorrow morning, protect the first 15 minutes of your day as though they shape the next 24 hours. Because over time, they will shape far more than that. They will shape the person you become. Chapter 6. Your inner signal shapes every future experience. You walk into a room filled with people you have never met before. No one knows your history. No one has heard your story. Yet within a few minutes, conversations begin forming around you. Some people seem naturally comfortable speaking with you. Others remain distant. As you leave later that evening, you wonder why the experience felt so different from what you expected. The answer is not found only in the people you met. It is also found in the invisible signal you carried into the room long before you spoke your first word. Every person sends a quiet message into the world. It is rarely spoken aloud. It is expressed through posture, attention, tone of voice, habits, expectations, and emotional patterns. Long before your words explain who you are, your inner state begins communicating on your behalf. This inner signal is not something you manufacture to impress others. It is the natural result of what you repeatedly believe about yourself. If your subconscious carries constant fear, your body often reflects it before your mind notices. If your subconscious has learned calm confidence, that quality quietly appears in your actions without effort. Many people spend years trying to change how they appear while ignoring what they consistently practice within. They learn better phrases, they imitate confidence, they memorize techniques. These methods may help for a short time, but they rarely last because they do not reach the deeper pattern. Your subconscious always reveals itself through consistency. You may convince others for a few minutes. You cannot consistently act beyond what you truly believe. That is why lasting transformation always begins beneath the surface. The ancient teachers understood this principle in a simple way. They believed that every action carried an unseen influence beyond the action itself. A kind deed performed from genuine compassion felt different from the same deed performed only for praise. The outward behavior looked identical. The inner signal was completely different. Life often responds to sincerity more than performance. This does not mean every good intention produces immediate success. Some efforts require time. Some opportunities arrive much later than expected. But people who consistently live with honesty, patience, and responsibility slowly build a life that reflects those qualities. Your inner signal also shapes the questions you ask. A fearful mind asks, "What if everything goes wrong?" A growing mind asks, "What can I learn from this?" A grateful mind asks, "What has already been given to me today?" The questions you repeat become directions for your attention. Your brain begins searching for answers that match them. If you constantly ask why life is unfair, your mind becomes skilled at collecting evidence. If you ask where growth is possible, your awareness begins finding different answers. The universe appears to respond through this process as well, not because it changes its nature according to your emotions, but because your attention begins cooperating with possibility instead of resisting it. You stop overlooking conversations that inspire you. You notice ideas worth exploring. You become willing to take actions that fear once rejected. Small changes inside create meaningful changes outside. There is another important truth. Your future experiences are not created by one extraordinary decision. They are shaped by the signal you carry every ordinary day. Think about a musician learning an instrument. Improvement does not come from practicing once with great enthusiasm. It comes from showing up day after day, allowing countless small adjustments to become second nature. Your character develops exactly the same way. Every repeated response strengthens a pattern. Every repeated pattern becomes part of your identity. Eventually, your identity begins creating expectations that influence your future experiences. This is why protecting your inner world matters. You cannot always choose what happens around you. You can choose what you continue rehearsing within yourself. Today, begin paying attention to your emotional starting point. Before beginning work, before answering messages, before speaking with anyone, pause for 1 full minute. Close your eyes if possible. Ask yourself quietly, what signal am I carrying into this day? Do not judge the answer. Simply notice it. If you discover anxiety, acknowledge it honestly. If you discover gratitude, strengthen it. Awareness always comes before change. Tomorrow, practice changing your response instead of your circumstance. During the first unexpected problem of the day, stop before reacting. Take 3 slow breaths. Ask one simple question. What response would strengthen the person I am becoming? Then choose that response, even if your emotions suggest another direction. This teaches your subconscious that wisdom leads your decisions rather than impulse. Throughout this week, become intentional about the people and information you allow into your mind. Notice how certain conversations leave you discouraged, while others leave you thoughtful and hopeful. Notice how some forms of entertainment create restlessness, while others create peace. Your subconscious absorbs more than you realize. Every repeated influence becomes part of your inner signal. Choose one source of encouragement each day. Read a few pages of something meaningful. Listen to words that strengthen responsibility, rather than blame. Spend time with people whose actions reflect integrity. Your inner signal becomes clearer when your environment supports your deepest values. As these practices continue, you may notice something surprising. The situations around you may remain difficult, yet you experience them differently. The same challenge no longer creates the same fear. The same criticism no longer controls your entire day. The same uncertainty no longer steals your peace. That is real transformation. There was a woman named Grace who often believed people disliked her before they even knew her. Whenever she entered a new environment, she remained quiet, avoided eye contact, and expected rejection. Her expectation became her signal. Others interpreted her silence as disinterest, leaving her feeling even more isolated. One evening, she recognized the pattern. She decided not to become someone completely different overnight. Instead, she chose one small change. Whenever she met someone new, she smiled warmly, looked them in the eyes, and asked one sincere question about their day. Nothing more. The conversations slowly became easier. People responded with greater openness. Months later, she realized she had not changed other people. She had changed the signal she carried into every meeting. That single shift created different experiences again and again. Remember this carefully. Your future is influenced less by isolated events than by repeated states of being. Hope practiced daily becomes visible in your choices. Patience practiced daily becomes visible in your relationships. Discipline practiced daily becomes visible in your achievements. The universe often meets you through these quiet patterns. Not because life guarantees perfect outcomes, because steady character prepares you to recognize meaningful opportunities when they appear. There will still be days when old emotions return. You may feel discouraged. You may question your progress. Do not mistake temporary feelings for permanent identity. Clouds pass across the sky without changing the sky itself. Thoughts pass through awareness without defining who you are. Return again to the signal you wish to carry. Calm, honesty, courage, responsibility, compassion. Practice these qualities often enough, and they will no longer feel like something you perform. They will become the natural language of your life. Beginning tomorrow morning, before you speak your first words to anyone else, decide the one quality you want every person you meet to experience through your presence, and protect that inner signal with every choice you make throughout the day. Chapter 7. Detachment unlocks the path beyond fear and doubt. You send an important message and place your phone on the table. For the next few minutes, everything feels normal. Then you look at the screen. No reply. 5 minutes later, you check again. Still nothing. Before an hour has passed, your mind has already written a story. Perhaps they are ignoring you. Perhaps you said the wrong thing. Perhaps this opportunity has disappeared. By the end of the day, you feel exhausted by thoughts that never became reality. The silence was real. Everything else was created by fear. This is how attachment quietly steals your peace. It convinces you that your well-being depends on a specific outcome. Instead of giving your full attention to the action you can control, your mind becomes trapped inside results you cannot command. You stop living in the present because you are negotiating with an imagined future. Many people misunderstand detachment. They believe it means becoming cold, distant, or indifferent. They think it requires giving up dreams or pretending not to care. True detachment is something very different. It is caring deeply about your actions while releasing the need to control every result. You continue planting the seed. You simply stop trying to pull it out of the ground each morning to check whether it has grown. The subconscious learns through trust. Fear constantly asks, "What if it never happens?" Trust quietly says, "My responsibility is today's action." These two voices create completely different lives. Fear keeps your attention on what is missing. Trust keeps your attention on what is possible today. The universe often seems to work with people who remain steady even when life becomes uncertain. Not because uncertainty disappears, but because steady people continue taking wise action while others become trapped by worry. Their energy is not wasted trying to control what belongs to time. Think about breathing. You inhale fully, then you release. If you refuse to let go of your breath because you feared losing it, you would suffer. Life follows a similar rhythm. Receive, act, release, then prepare for the next moment. Attachment interrupts this natural flow. It convinces you that holding tighter creates greater security. Yet the tighter you cling to one outcome, the less clearly you can see the opportunities surrounding it. The subconscious notices this tension. When your thoughts constantly repeat, "What if I fail?" your body begins preparing for danger, even while sitting safely in a quiet room. Your shoulders tighten, your breathing becomes shallow, your decisions become smaller. Eventually, you begin avoiding the very opportunities you once prayed would appear. Detachment restores clear vision. It reminds your subconscious that uncertainty is not always a threat. Sometimes uncertainty is simply the space where new possibilities enter. There is another reason detachment carries such quiet power. When your identity becomes attached to one result, every delay feels like personal failure. If one conversation goes badly, you believe you are a failure. If one opportunity disappears, you believe your future has disappeared. But when your identity is rooted in character rather than outcome, temporary setbacks lose their power to define you. You remain patient. You remain honest. You remain disciplined. Those qualities cannot be taken away by one disappointing day. Today, practice releasing one small expectation. Choose something ordinary. Perhaps you expect every email to receive an immediate reply. Perhaps you expect every plan to unfold exactly as imagined. Notice the expectation without criticizing yourself. Then quietly say, "I will give my best effort and allow life to unfold beyond that." Repeat those words whenever impatience begins growing. Tomorrow, choose one meaningful task and complete it without checking for immediate results. If you submit an application, do not spend the afternoon refreshing your inbox. If you share your work, do not count every reaction. If you help someone, do not wait for praise. Complete the action with care. Then return your attention to the next responsibility. This teaches your subconscious that your value comes from faithful effort, not constant approval. Throughout this week, create one daily practice of release before sleep. Sit quietly for 5 minutes. Close your eyes. Take slow breaths. Think about everything you tried to control during the day. A conversation, a decision, another person's opinion, a future event. One by one, picture yourself placing each concern into open hands instead of closed fists. Say quietly, "I release what does not belong to me." Then rest. You may discover that sleep becomes deeper because your mind is no longer carrying burdens it was never meant to hold. As these practices continue, you may notice something surprising. You do not become less motivated. You become more focused. Energy once spent worrying becomes available for meaningful action. You stop arguing with reality. You begin cooperating with it. There was a man named Thomas who spent months applying for new positions after losing his job. Every rejection convinced him that something was wrong with him. He refreshed his email dozens of times each day. He could not enjoy meals with his family because his thoughts remained trapped inside uncertain outcomes. One evening, he decided to change only one habit. After sending each application, he immediately turned his attention toward improving one skill for the next opportunity instead of waiting for replies. He studied. He practiced. He exercised. He spent time with his children without checking his phone every few minutes. Weeks later, he received an offer. The job mattered, but something more valuable had already changed. His peace no longer depended entirely upon one email. He had learned to separate his effort from his expectations. That lesson stayed with him long after the new position began. Many people delay happiness until life becomes perfect. They say they will relax after success arrives. They will trust after certainty appears. They will feel grateful after every problem disappears. Life rarely follows that order. Peace grows first. Then clearer action follows. Then, many results begin changing naturally over time. Detachment is not giving up your dreams. It is refusing to surrender your peace while those dreams are still growing. It is understanding that some doors open quickly. Others require seasons of preparation you cannot yet see. The universe does not always answer according to your preferred schedule. Sometimes the delay is preparing you. Sometimes it is protecting you. Sometimes it is creating conditions that only become clear much later. You do not need to understand every delay to continue acting with integrity. You only need enough trust to take the next honest step. There will still be mornings when impatience returns. Old habits may whisper that everything must happen immediately. Listen without obeying them. Return to your breath. Return to today's work. Return to the quiet confidence that your responsibility is faithful action rather than perfect control. Beginning tomorrow, give your full heart to every action you can control, release every outcome you cannot control before the day ends, and allow your peace to become stronger than your need for certainty. Chapter 8. You trust the invisible process without resistance. You water a small plant every morning. At first, nothing seems different. The soil looks the same. The leaves appear unchanged. After a week, you wonder if your effort matters at all. Part of you wants to stop because there is no visible reward. Yet beneath the surface, something important is happening. Tiny roots are reaching deeper into the soil. They are becoming strong enough to support future growth. The greatest work is taking place where your eyes cannot see it. Your life often follows the same pattern. Many of the most meaningful changes begin long before they become visible. The difficulty is that your mind prefers immediate proof. It wants to see progress after every effort. It wants reassurance that today's discipline will produce tomorrow's reward. When that reassurance does not arrive, doubt begins speaking. It whispers that nothing is changing. It tells you your effort is being wasted. It encourages you to stop just before the deeper transformation begins. This is why so many people abandon good habits too early. They mistake invisible progress for no progress. The subconscious develops quietly. It does not announce every small improvement. It strengthens itself through repetition until one day your new way of thinking feels completely natural. That day often surprises you because you cannot identify the exact moment the change occurred. You simply realize that you are no longer the person you used to be. Trust grows in much the same way. It is not created through perfect certainty. It is created through repeated experience. Each time you keep a promise to yourself, trust becomes stronger. Each time you continue despite uncertainty, trust becomes deeper. Each time you choose patience instead of panic, trust becomes more natural. Many people believe they need complete confidence before taking action. Life teaches the opposite lesson. Action performed with quiet faith slowly creates confidence. The universe often works through processes that unfold beyond your immediate understanding. A seed does not argue with the darkness beneath the soil. It does not demand sunlight before growing roots. It simply follows its nature. Your own growth requires a similar willingness. There will be seasons when you cannot yet see the results of your discipline. That does not mean your effort has been ignored. It may simply mean the foundation is still being built. The subconscious welcomes steady repetition because repetition creates safety. When you continue a healthy practice without demanding immediate rewards, you teach your subconscious a valuable lesson. You teach it that consistency matters more than temporary emotion. That lesson becomes part of your character. Character lasts longer than motivation. Resistance appears whenever life refuses to follow your preferred schedule. Resistance sounds like this. This should have happened already. I have done enough. Why is nothing changing? These thoughts create tension because they fight against reality instead of working with it. Acceptance is different. Acceptance does not mean giving up. It means recognizing what belongs to this moment. You accept where you are. You continue moving toward where you hope to be. You stop wasting energy arguing with the time required for meaningful growth. There is great freedom in that decision. The universe moves according to rhythms larger than personal preference. Morning becomes evening without your permission. The seasons change without your approval. Your heart continues beating while you sleep. Much of life already works through invisible order. You are invited to cooperate with that order rather than constantly resisting it. Today, begin practicing patient awareness. Choose one meaningful goal you are working toward. Write it at the top of a page. Then, underneath, list 5 actions completely within your control. Not results. Only actions. If your goal is better health, write actions like walking every day, preparing healthy meals, sleeping on time, drinking enough water, and exercising consistently. If your goal is stronger relationships, write actions like listening carefully, speaking honestly, showing appreciation, spending quality time, and forgiving quickly. Read only the actions each morning. Release the timeline. Tomorrow, create one visible reminder that growth often happens unseen. Place a small stone, a leaf, or a simple object somewhere you will notice it throughout the day. Each time you see it, pause for one slow breath and remind yourself, not everything valuable is immediately visible. This simple practice interrupts impatience before it becomes discouragement. Throughout this week, spend 10 minutes every evening reflecting on your effort instead of your results. Ask yourself 3 quiet questions. Did I honor my values today? Did I keep the promises that were within my control? What one action will I repeat tomorrow? Notice that none of these questions depend upon external success. They depend upon faithful living. This shifts your attention from chasing outcomes to building character. Character creates results that endure. As these practices continue, something subtle begins changing inside you. You stop measuring your worth by daily victories. You stop measuring your worth by daily victories. You stop measuring your worth by daily victories. You become more patient with yourself. You become more patient with yourself. You become more patient with yourself. You discover a quiet strength that does not disappear whenever life becomes uncertain. There was a woman named Rebecca who dreamed of starting her own business. For nearly a year, very little seemed to happen. She learned new skills. She saved money. She studied every evening after work. Friends questioned whether her effort was worthwhile because there were no obvious signs of success. Some days she questioned herself. Still, she continued. One afternoon, an unexpected conversation introduced her to someone searching for exactly the service she had been preparing to offer. Within months, her first clients began arriving steadily. Looking back, she realized the opportunity had not appeared suddenly. She had spent an entire year quietly becoming the person capable of receiving it. The invisible process had been working long before the visible reward appeared. This is how many meaningful changes unfold. The roots grow before the branches. Wisdom develops before recognition. Discipline matures before achievement. Peace settles into the heart before circumstances fully reflect it. Do not fear seasons that appear quiet. Silence often carries preparation. Do not compare your timeline with someone else's. Every life grows according to different conditions. A tree planted beside a river and one planted on a hillside both reach toward the same sky, but each follows its own season. Comparison creates resistance. Gratitude creates patience. There will still be moments when doubt returns. That is natural. Trust is not the absence of questions. Trust is choosing the next faithful action, even while questions remain. You do not need complete understanding before moving forward. You only need enough courage to honor today's responsibility. Each honest decision becomes another stone in the foundation you are building. The subconscious remembers every promise you keep. The universe often answers through timing you could never have arranged yourself. Your task is not to force the harvest. Your task is to care faithfully for the garden each day. Beginning tomorrow morning, commit yourself to the actions that belong to you, release the timetable that does not, and continue showing up with quiet confidence, even when the greatest signs of growth remain hidden beneath the surface. Chapter 9. Awakening reveals the hidden master you already are. You are washing the dishes after dinner. Water runs quietly over your hands. The room is peaceful. Then you notice something surprising. The problem that would have overwhelmed you a few months ago no longer controls your thoughts. You remember how you once reacted with fear, frustration, and self-doubt. Now there is only a calm awareness. The challenge still exists, but you are different. No celebration announces this change. No one else notices it. Yet something important has happened. Without realizing it, you have become stronger than a pattern that once ruled your life. Many people spend years searching for a moment that will completely transform them. They expect awakening to arrive like a flash of light, or a dramatic experience that changes everything overnight. They believe one extraordinary event will erase every fear and answer every question. Real awakening is usually much quieter. It often arrives through ordinary moments. You respond with patience where anger once appeared. You choose honesty where excuses once felt easier. You remain peaceful while uncertainty surrounds you. These small changes reveal something greater than temporary emotion. They reveal your true nature. The hidden master within you has never been someone outside yourself. It has never belonged to a distant teacher, a secret place, or a rare experience. It has always been the deepest part of your own awareness. It is the part of you that remains calm while thoughts come and go. It is the part that watches fear without becoming fear. It is the quiet presence that has patiently waited beneath years of noise. Your subconscious has spent much of your life collecting habits, beliefs, and emotional patterns. Some served you well, others limited your growth. As you became more aware, you stopped allowing every thought to become your identity. You learned to observe before reacting. You learned to choose before repeating. That simple shift changes everything. The universe often seems distant, only because the mind is too busy to notice what has always been available. When your attention becomes calmer, life begins revealing lessons that were hidden inside ordinary experiences. A difficult conversation teaches compassion. A disappointment teaches patience. A delay teaches trust. A success teaches responsibility. Nothing is wasted when awareness is present. Awakening is not about escaping life. It is about meeting life with clearer eyes. Many people believe wisdom means always knowing the correct answer. True wisdom often begins by asking better questions. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" you begin asking, "What is this experience teaching me?" Instead of asking, "When will everything become easy?" you ask, "Who am I becoming through this challenge?" These questions guide your attention toward growth instead of resistance. The hidden master within you is not perfect. Perfection is not the goal. Awareness is. A person who notices anger before speaking is stronger than someone who never questions their anger. A person who admits mistakes grows faster than someone who defends every action. Humility opens doors that pride cannot even see. There is quiet strength in recognizing that learning never ends. Each season of life offers another opportunity to deepen your understanding. Today, begin by noticing how far you have already come. Take a notebook and write 3 ways you have changed during the past year. Perhaps you recover from disappointment more quickly. Perhaps you speak more kindly to yourself. Perhaps you keep promises more consistently. Do not dismiss small victories. Your subconscious remembers them. Reading them strengthens your new identity. Tomorrow, practice becoming the observer during one emotional moment. When frustration appears, do not immediately react. Take one slow breath. Silently say, "I notice this feeling," not, "I am this feeling." Just, I notice it. This simple distinction reminds your subconscious that emotions are experiences passing through awareness, not permanent definitions of who you are. Throughout this week, spend 15 minutes each evening reflecting on one lesson the day has given you. Not one problem, one lesson. It may be as simple as realizing you need more patience. It may be discovering that you feel stronger after keeping one difficult promise. It may be understanding that peace grows when you stop needing everyone's approval. Write only one lesson each day. Small lessons become deep wisdom when remembered consistently. As these practices continue, you may notice another important change. You become less interested in proving yourself. You become more interested in improving yourself. This is one of the clearest signs of awakening. Your attention turns inward without becoming selfish. You stop competing with other people's timelines. You stop measuring your worth through comparison. You recognize that every person's path unfolds according to different experiences and different seasons. There was a man named David who spent years believing that confidence meant never showing weakness. Whenever he made a mistake, he blamed circumstances or defended himself immediately. One afternoon, after misunderstanding a coworker, he almost responded with anger. Instead, he paused. He listened. He realized the misunderstanding had come from his own assumptions. For the first time, he apologized without trying to justify himself. The conversation ended peacefully. Driving home that evening, he realized something surprising. His apology had not made him weaker. It had made him freer. His greatest victory that day was not winning an argument. It was no longer needing to. That moment revealed a strength he had never known before. Many people search endlessly for hidden knowledge while overlooking the quiet wisdom already growing inside them. Every time you choose responsibility instead of blame, wisdom grows. Every time you remain patient through uncertainty, wisdom grows. Every time you forgive yourself and continue moving forward, wisdom grows. The hidden master is revealed through repeated choices, not dramatic discoveries. You have spent your life collecting experiences. Some brought joy. Some brought pain. All of them have offered opportunities to become more aware. Nothing needs to be erased. Even difficult memories can become teachers when viewed through compassion instead of regret. Your past is no longer your prison when it becomes your classroom. There will still be moments when old habits return. You may still experience fear. You may still doubt yourself. Awakening does not remove every challenge. It changes your relationship with those challenges. You stop believing every fearful thought. You stop treating every delay as failure. You remember that your deepest identity remains untouched beneath temporary emotion. That quiet remembering is enough. The hidden master has never demanded applause. It has never sought recognition. It simply continues choosing truth over illusion, patience over panic, and awareness over automatic reaction. It grows stronger each time you return to it. Beginning tomorrow morning, before the world reminds you who you used to be, spend 5 quiet minutes remembering the person you have already become. Then allow every decision throughout the day to reflect that deeper awareness rather than your oldest habits. Chapter 10. You become the living codex of ancient wisdom. The morning feels different, though nothing around you has changed. The same walls greet you, the same street waits outside, the same responsibilities remain. Yet when you stand in front of the mirror, you no longer search for someone else to become. You recognize a quiet confidence that was once missing. The voice that used to fill every silence with doubt has grown softer. Another voice has become stronger. It does not promise an easy life. It simply reminds you that you already know how to meet whatever this day brings. This is how lasting transformation often reveals itself. Not through a dramatic moment that everyone notices. Through an ordinary morning when you realize you no longer need permission to trust yourself. Many people believe wisdom is something collected from distant places. They search for hidden teachings, rare knowledge, and extraordinary experiences. They keep believing that one more answer will finally make them complete. Yet wisdom has always asked something much simpler. It asks whether you live what you already know. Knowledge stored only in the mind changes very little. Knowledge practiced through daily action changes everything. There is an old difference between reading a map and walking the road. The map may describe every mountain and every river. Only walking teaches your feet where the ground is uneven. Your life has become that walk. Every breath taken with awareness. Every promise kept despite difficulty. Every act of patience when anger seemed easier. Every decision to continue after disappointment. These moments have written something far more valuable than information. They have written character. Character is the language through which wisdom speaks. The subconscious no longer hears only your words. It has watched your actions. It has seen you choose discipline over comfort. It has seen you return after failure instead of giving up. It has seen you release outcomes you could not control. It has learned that you are becoming someone worthy of trust. That quiet trust changes every future decision. The universe often appears mysterious because people expect it to communicate through extraordinary signs. More often, it answers through the person you become, the opportunities you now recognize, the peace you now protect, the courage you now practice, the compassion you now offer. The answers were not only waiting outside you, many were patiently growing within you. This is what it means to become a living codex. Not a person who memorizes wisdom, a person whose life expresses wisdom. Anyone can repeat inspiring words. Fewer people live them when life becomes uncomfortable. That is where true understanding begins. There will always be another challenge, another disappointment, another unexpected season. Life does not stop presenting new lessons because you have grown. Growth simply changes how you meet those lessons. The storms may continue. You become steadier. The questions may remain. You become calmer while seeking their answers. The future will still contain uncertainty. You no longer mistake uncertainty for danger. You have learned something deeper. Peace is not created by controlling tomorrow. Peace is created by meeting today with honesty. There is a quiet responsibility that comes with this understanding. Wisdom is never meant to remain private. Not through preaching, not through convincing, through example. People notice calmness. They notice integrity. They notice someone who listens before speaking. They notice someone who remains kind without expecting reward. Whether they speak about it or not, your presence becomes an invitation. It reminds others that another way of living is possible. That influence cannot always be measured. Yet it reaches farther than you may ever know. Today, begin carrying your values into every ordinary moment. Choose one value that has become part of your life. Perhaps it is patience, perhaps honesty, perhaps gratitude. Whatever you choose, allow it to guide every conversation today. Do not announce it. Practice it quietly. The subconscious grows strongest when actions become natural rather than performed for approval. Tomorrow, create a personal statement that reflects who you have become. Write one paragraph beginning with these words: I choose to live as someone who. Finish the sentence using simple truths. I choose to live as someone who keeps promises. I choose to live as someone who listens before reacting. I choose to live as someone who brings peace into difficult situations. Read this statement every morning for the next 30 days. Do not rush through it. Read each sentence slowly. Allow your subconscious to hear the identity you are continuing to build. Throughout this week, perform one act each day that reflects your deepest values without expecting anyone to notice. Help someone quietly. Forgive without announcing it. Speak encouragement where criticism would be easier. Remain patient during inconvenience. Choose honesty when dishonesty would bring temporary comfort. These actions strengthen the connection between your inner beliefs and your outward life. Eventually, there is no difference between what you believe and how you behave. That is integrity. Integrity is one of the greatest forms of inner freedom. As these practices continue, you may discover that success begins meaning something different. You no longer measure your life only through achievements. You measure it through alignment. Did your actions reflect your values? Did your choices strengthen your character? Did your presence leave people feeling respected? These questions create a life that remains meaningful even during difficult seasons. There was an elderly woman named Margaret who spent decades working as a school librarian. She never considered herself extraordinary. She greeted every child with kindness. She remembered their names. She encouraged those who doubted themselves. Years after retiring, former students continued visiting her. Many had become teachers, doctors, artists, and parents. They thanked her for believing in them during moments when they could not believe in themselves. Margaret had never tried to become famous. She had simply lived her values every ordinary day. Without realizing it, she became a living expression of the wisdom she practiced. Her influence continued through countless lives she would never fully see. This is how real transformation spreads. Quietly, patiently. One life touching another. One honest decision encouraging another. One peaceful response interrupting generations of fear. Your greatest contribution may never appear in a newspaper. It may never receive applause. It may live inside a conversation that gives someone hope. A child who learns courage by watching you. A friend who chooses forgiveness because you demonstrated it first. A stranger who remembers your kindness during a difficult day. These moments become part of a legacy that cannot be measured. The ancient power you once searched for was never separated from your daily choices. It was hidden inside them all along, every breath taken with awareness. Every fear met with courage. Every setback answered with perseverance. Every success carried with humility. Together they have formed something no one can take away. Not because life will always be easy, because your foundation no longer depends upon easy circumstances. There will still be days when old thoughts return. Meet them with compassion. There will still be moments of uncertainty. Meet them with trust. There will still be opportunities to grow. Welcome them with quiet confidence. The work of becoming never truly ends. That is not a burden. It is one of life's greatest gifts. Every sunrise offers another opportunity to practice who you have chosen to become. Every evening offers another chance to learn. Every ordinary moment becomes another page written through your actions. From this day forward, allow every thought you repeat, every promise you keep, every challenge you face, and every kindness you offer to become living proof that the greatest wisdom is not hidden in forgotten words but revealed through the life you choose to live each day.